TBQ in, and the blue buff actually goes over to Expeke, grabbed it. Meanwhile, LGD using that teleport to put a lot of pressure on the bottom. Oh! From Acorn does not connect. They still want the turret, but that's a lot used for not a lot of kills.
Very smart move though from Nils. Notice how far back he was standing already, knowing, okay, Mythy, in case anything happens, I can pull you in, and then we can just flash out. And they're going for TBQ.
Hello, TBQ taking a lot of damage. Timbers dropping TBQ over the wall, tries to get away with that bolt breaker. Peke coming from the top. With the command attack, that's first blood for Expeke, Acorn, and PYL on the run right now. Imp there to try to support, and that'll be the end of the chase, but first blood goes to Origin.
And it gave a ton of time for Soaz to farm up in the top lane, 51 CS, no teleport on Acorn, complete map control, and Soaz can even equalize the turret score from all of this. So the TP from Acorn horribly backfires, and Origin completely collapsed correctly.
Isn't gonna find a Lulu all by herself right now.
Oh, Godby in a little bit of trouble. Ults himself, has to burn that flash as well. Peke with the command protect. Command attack onto Godby, but that's more pressure onto this already hurting LGD team.
And what's been happening now here the last few minutes, instead of Nils and Mythy being able to win the 2v2 lane, Mythy had to recall and obviously help Source on the top side earlier, so he was behind in experience. He wasn't that strong in the 2v2, but instead, because he was there to help Source earlier, he managed to pick up farm and experience, and he's really for it. So they sacrificed the bottom lane for their top laner, and then Acorn trying with this TP to make a big play, take a tower, get some kills onto him. It backfires completely because Nils read the situation and moved back. This guy's 17 years old.
Yeah.
And he reads that so well.
And even though Imp is winning in CS, Origin as a team up 1,200 gold right now. And Expeke, a player that was pointed as the most obvious mismatch in skill here, is actually winning his lane and has first blood against Gad.
I love Orianna into Lulu.
Yeah, that's good for him, but he's still doing it.
Now the question is, as this game goes on, my concern for Origin is just how squishy they are. I mean, if a good engage comes in from LGD, if Malphite comes in, if the knockups start happening, aren't LGD just going to tear them apart?
They can very easily take down that first target. You highlighted yourself, so instead it's going to be Origin trying to pull the trigger. With Mythy going in with the flash chambers, you're going to have Source in the middle of it, and then of course Peke trying to put the ball on someone. And we're going to get a massive wombo combo of so much magic damage, and then Nils kind of standing at backline being like, hey guys, I'm helping as well. But it's not really going to be about his damage in these fights. If Peke and Source can coordinate it with Mythy, they can also one-shot some squishy members on the side of LGD. So it can go both ways, but it would be some very explosive team fights. We've had a fantastic early game already, going back and forth between the teams. I can't wait for the fights to break out. Come on, guys, do it.
Oh, they're going to be so much fun.
Definitely. One more time with Feeling Freak.
They're going to be so much fun.
There we go. Okay, now I'm believing it.
I love mechanics. I'm going to talk about one more thing. So Peke is very likely, I think, to go a Zhonya's Hourglass second. Every single person not named Niels can dodge a Malphite or Vi ultimate trivially easily.
Yeah.
Vladimir Pool, Repel, Zhonya's Hourglass, Kalista ulti onto the support. The hard engage, like you talk about picking that one guy off, that one guy can only be Niels. He's the only reliable engage, or target for the engage as we move later on into the game once the Zhonya's comes through, and that is honestly a concern. Playing ultimate-based engage compositions are obviously very ulti-based, but those cooldowns are quite long.
Yeah, we're going to have one of these games here for both teams where Flash, I mean, it's in every single game, so of course it always has a lot of value. This one even more, because if you look at Imp here, if he dodges around the shockwave and of course Source going this big wombo combo for Origin, he will never die with a Lulu protecting him as well. Origin will not have any backline threat left. But at the same time, when Malphite flies in, you highlight yourself how people can dodge it with abilities, but then also with the flash. Timbers down to bottom lane.
Here we go. Yeah, they're going to try something, but Mythy and Niels, the ones who take a lot of damage. A turret does go down in favor of Origin, though. They get the mid lane.
Now the summoner teleport from Expeke actually working to keep him in the mid lane and keep the pressure up. Amazing, who's been out farming TBQ all game, shows up to knock the turret down. The bot lane is still going to Imp PYL, probably the best bot lane at this tournament. They're doing work, but OG winning the rest of the map.
The adaptation to send Mythy up top and help Source was so key for them getting him ahead. So the two great matchups they had in the soul lanes could really start shining for Origin. They're ahead in form, they've taken down the turrets. Bottom lane is the only one standing now, so we could see a potential 5-man. There is double teleport. Peke is running it in this game here. Haven't seen it used aggressive yet, but getting that for late game always has a lot of value.
Looks like that turret's finally going to fall to LGD. That'll be their second of the game as well, which should tie them up well in turrets and fairly close to gold, I would imagine, too.
Yeah, but this is still a very close game here. Godby looking for some aggressive plays to make Peke as out of mana, and TBQ's coming. Spots himself on a pink ward and says, you know what, never mind. But Peke, teleport's still down, and is going to hope to get his blue buff.
I mean, he was just powering up to hit that ward as hard as he could. TBQ hates wards, apparently.
Just
didn't even kill it, man.
He can't even Q it.
Small girl instead takes out the pink ward, so Mythic gets that one. Amazing, starting the dragon.
Oh, this is so fortunate. Imp just recalled for Triforce. They didn't go now, they couldn't contest this. And they sneak through the Triforce of Imp, and they get it easily with Ren.
So good timing.
That was crucial.
Very well done by Origin there. Getting that first dragon, and I gotta say, this one already is a lot closer than people were thinking it might be.
Here's the way I always consider teams at World Championships, especially Western versus Eastern teams. We've certainly seen, some very good games from like of KT Rolster and SK Telecom where they deserve to win those games. Individual skill level is not actually that far apart at a World Championship. You're seeing Peke hold up against Godby, who's like the #3 player at worst in the world. Peke's not even on the list. He's doing just fine. It's how the team plays when the game breaks open. That's where the big differences are. And that's where the players start to shine when they're set up in these really good situations.
I thought we agreed we weren't going to bring up that top 20 list on the cast. That's
Freak's
a
own
dangerous
top 20
territory,
Yeah,
Freak.
Godby's in my top 3. Next Peke is, not top 10 all time, but this year it's hard to contest him for that.
So when we look at these two teams as well, though, and you just highlighted how the teams play outside of laning phase, outside of individual skill, it's not really something uncommon that LGD doesn't get super far ahead in the early game. We've seen this multiple times before, where still when it comes to the late game, with the decision making, with the team fights, and of course again the side lanes we keep talking about, how well they use them is what really shines through here for LGD. Origin is a team that in the EULC has always had to do well in the mid game, really, to take wins. They had to get a lead going, and then they could start playing all 3 lanes, as you see here. Nils up in top side, Pekka sitting in mid, and then Source on bottom lane. So you're farming 3 carries at
Oh,
once.
there's the trap. Imp going in onto Soaz now. Soaz pools underneath it, pops that Hemo play. Here comes PYL with the shield. Soaz on the run.
One more hit will
Will it
do
be a
it.
kill? He gets him. Imp with the kill. Xpeke coming in, though, getting knocked up after using a shockwave. A little bit too early. Is Xpeke takes a lot of damage, and that's going to be a double kill now for Imp. The wild growth keeping him alive.
Massive outplays.
An outplay, man. Imp baiting it, and then instantly we see PWL coming down. We saw the roam from Godby. 2 members dying from Origin. They will get a top tower, but down the bottom side, we have 3 guys still pushing for LGD.
Yeah, if they can make it a turret for 2 kills, that's about equal, but this bot lane already under fire, and it's likely to be an uncontested turret take, so definitely advantage LGD, and they're right back in it.
Just talked about how Origin likes to play the 3 lanes when it comes to farming. LGD, they can do exactly the same because they're so good at everyone controlling. How far up can I be? When can I take a one-on-one? And then just the roam coming down. Imp played it perfectly, waited for the rest of the team. Godby even flash forward. Look
Check
here.
out this bait.
PWL
just recalling.
PWL is coming. Source can't see him. It's completely dark in the jungle, but he thinks he has TP backup. That's why the ward is there as well. So now it comes in, but Godby's also moving, so it's too late. And Source already goes down. The flash shockwave, we're going to see this multiple times in this game. And suddenly Origin loses 2 guys and a tower.
Well, teleport even canceled by Acorn, too. He's like, nah, you guys got this. I'll handle it.
Yeah, I think there was one also minor mechanical thing by Imp at the very end there. I don't think when he activated W, it popped his Triforce. It was still on cooldown. He actually cast another spell with the attack in the air to get the bonus damage on the auto attack to actually get the kill off on Xpeke.
Wow.
Either way, it was Triforce damage that did kill him. I didn't see exactly what charged it, but certainly good things there. Still some farm coming in for Kalista, but I mean, Imp, 2 kills on a Kog'Maw with a Lulu on your team, that's so hard to deal with.
It is. I mean, Juggermaw is an apt title, I suppose. Even if it's not the classic comp that we know and love, this is still a Kog'Maw that will be nearly unstoppable if it keeps up at this rate.
Only takes 3 more kills to be unstoppable. That's going to be probably not far away.
Literally unstoppable.
Literally, as far as the announcer is concerned, we'll hear it, and it'll be true.
I'm thinking you're right. Well, they're putting a little bit of pressure into the jungle for LGD right now, trying to drop some wards, get a bit of vision, and it's smart. You know, you need to get some sort of edge, and Wards are a great way to do that.
That's going to be a key thing for Origin. Keep pushing the mid lane every time you have the chance. It's so easy for an Orianna, just instant clear the wave, and then it opens up for Amazing and Mythy to start moving into the jungle, get some of the deep vision. The problem is still that Nils on this Kalista, because of the way the early game played out, where Mythy had to leave and sacrificed a lot of experience, he never got to be the lane bully. So now he's two kills behind, and Imp is very confident in sitting in that side lane against him. No problem at all. Double teleport from Origin can be a big thing, but we obviously need to wait for Pekka to get his back before we might see another fight in the side lane where suddenly 2 or 3 guys are joining in with globals and 1 guy is roaming down and we get one of these big skirmishes.
Well, it's only about a minute until Dragon comes up again. If there's going to be a fight, it's going to be around that objective.
And no flash from him. Again, look for it. We will keep highlighting it because there's so many abilities from Origin that's going to be so key landing onto him. And if you get the whole combo from Origin, even the Lulu ulti should not be able to save him at this point in the game.
Yeah, they need some sort of CC to keep him safe.
There's going to be a 15-second difference as well between Dragon respawning and Peke's teleport coming up. So choosing to use him as a split pusher, there's a small timing window where LGD can absolutely abuse that. Right now they're using Soaz. He's, of course, very safe out on the side here.
TBQ clearing a ward, another one dropped immediately by Amazing. They really want to have vision control around this Dragon.
Oh, and actually Acorn doesn't have teleport, but he has to deal with the top lane push from Soaz, his TP advantage. It should give Origin this Dragon.
They have Flash and Mythy as well to start the fight, and Acorn is extremely weak in this game.
There goes Acorn, he's running.
He's been forced to go for magic resist against, of course, Soaz here, so the damage is barely nothing from Acorn. He's just going to be an engage, and that's about it, and then maybe slow the attack speed of Nils. But I like this fight very early for vision around the Dragon. Even before it spawns, I believe yesterday the average time the Dragon was alive was 29 seconds.
Yeah.
This game here, because both teams are fighting for vision, it might be alive for a little bit longer because the fight should happen first and then Dragon after.
As long as LGD has vision control, though, there's no way you can react to the Malphite ulti in time, though. They're going to start right away to back control. Soaz is pushing in the top side, and Origin choosing to contest this instead of getting the push in. Mythy up in the front lines. Dragon already picked up. There's the dive! Oh!
Acorn helps him take out the Dragon. Mythy barely alive. They're going to get Amazing, though. Another kill for him. Shockwave does nothing because there's no follow-up for Origin. That turret in top lane, though, in the base may go down.
Such a big mistake, though, from Origin, even walking in the river near that Dragon. So basically what they decided to say was, we're not going to fight you. You can start the Dragon because we have TP advantage. We will take the top tower, or at least a lot of it, and get extra farm on Vladimir. But then you should never move in the 4 guys, even close, so you are open for this hard engage.
Vampires don't do very well against beings made of metal. Soaz on the run.
And it looks like he's happy to just suck oil out of it, actually playing in the Chinese client where the blood turns brown instead.
That does not taste good, I bet.
He's doing fine, the hard engage!
The Timbers onto Imp, Mythy getting low, but Imp as well. Imp in big trouble, flashing over the wall, they get the kill onto Mythy. PYL goes down to support for support. How in the world is Imp living through this?
Due to PYL and his fantastic position on this Braum here, blocking all the damage from Nils, he sacrifices his own life, stays, or makes sure the Imp stays alive. No extra gold going over to Origin. They pulled the trigger, but PYL saved the day, at least for now.
They can Baron bait. They can Baron bait. Imp has to be in the base, and the guys kill this pretty fast. It's a
They
Blade of
have
Ruin
no
King.
tank with armor that can tank this Baron. With 22 minutes in, 3 guys is around. It's too much.
Yeah. With a Spiderling, with Spiderlings and an Orianna Shield and a Vladimir, I feel like you can do enough to if you weren't contested, you could do it, but you're right.
You would have to rush it down, and I think it's too risky at this point for Origin. They are still ahead in gold. We have a lot of action going back and forth. Teams overstaying their welcome a little bit. Origin moving into the Dragon, open up for Acorn to engage. Imp now got flash tables, obviously, for Mythy as well. A lot of small fights going on. Still a big advantage for Soaz up in the top lane. Look at the gold here. But he hasn't been able to do anything with it just yet. He's still scaling up on his Vladimir.
And the thing is, Kog'Maw is actually one of the best champions in the game at killing off Vladimir. Percent health, magic damage. There's no MR on Soaz. Part of the reason Vlad's even tanky is the passive just gives him bonus health. Imp will shred through him in a team fight, especially if a single stun can land. And Imp having all the gold in his team, it's very scary for Origin to deal with.
Not to mention Jurassic Kog'Maw again. No blood.
No blood. It's amazing Soaz even tried to pick this champion. I mean,
it's true.
Well, he didn't know the skin before.
I mean, it's just like going into picks and bans. You know they could pick the champion. You know they could pick the skin. Why would you even bother when you know they could pick Jurassic?
It's a lore mismatch big time.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, well, PYL and TBQ How many more like 3-letter acronyms can we get in this game, by the way?
I think it's PUL, not PYL.
Pill?
PUL?
You think so?
Is that Danish?
Pulsar?
You just oh, with the slash through it.
Kill, that's what he's supposed to do for Imp, right?
He's done a great job of it, actually. 4 assists on him. He's died for him.
Yeah.
Still 100%. The bot lane is all of LGD right now.
And
That is where it all is.
LGD has done a very good job saying, okay, you're constantly pushing the mid lane. That allows Amazing and Mythic to walk into our jungle. We don't want that to happen anymore. We want to make sure we control our own side of the map. So look at the amount of pink wards defensively placed, so they can always see the invade coming. And they know, okay, Origin has no control in this area here. We can play around. They're trying, though, to deny the vision. They're going to see 2 of the guys getting 1 pink ward.
Well, they know exactly what LGD needs to do to sort of keep themselves safe. So, of course, Origin's going to be looking for those wards and getting a couple already.
That's the interesting thing is Origin have the ability to play around the map so much better. Again, double teleport, a big mismatch in the Vlad versus Malphite one, who's still having to stack MR and has no CDR. So Acorn's actual fight power is even lower, his damage so much worse, and Origin just trying to play a split up map. And they're honestly just trying not to have Imp in a fight somewhere. And unfortunately for them, he's already gotten into 4 of them.
Oh, a little blue steal from him coming in, going to be able to get that buff. Double buffs on Kog'Maw, definitely something that every Kog'Maw player wants. A small smattering of applause for the blue steal, I guess.
It's almost annoying for Origin that this top lane is all the way down near the inhibitor turret so early on, because you cannot move all the way down and push it out and farm it. So there's always this lane that LGD can slow push back towards them every time they get it down near where the old tier 2 turret were. And that means Origin always have to send the guys back in towards mid lane, and suddenly Nils and Xpeke are sitting next to each other, sharing farm and experience. It's never ideal when you run triple carries for themselves, so it's a little bit annoying for them. It's great you have the global gold, but I'm sure they would have preferred the bot lane tower to be down at this time instead, and maybe just have it that way.
Well, Soaz trying for that right now, in fact, and again, teleport up, and no one who's able to easily fight him 1v1 aside from Kog'Maw. Maybe he can actually get some pressure done. Origin starting to really play around the top side of the map, but Scuttle Crab's already been taken by LGD, meaning Origin cannot faithfully go for a Baron sneak here.
And we have a very, very big wave being pushed in the top side from LGD.
Ooh.
It's very easy for Origin to go and grab it, but Source needs to be careful that not 2 or 3 guys suddenly show up. Pekka can join in with teleport. We have to keep that in mind. But for now, continues play pushing for himself. They need to get this wave coming on top side, though, before it gets completely out of control. Just push it back. Nils is going there now.
Yeah.
So he's just going to shove it back in, and then LGD can do exactly the same. And we have this wave that keeps bouncing between each other. Nobody can really kill each other's towers because there's such a long route between the tier 2 and the inhibitor turret.
All right, looks like mid lane's the push, and next package is going to teleport just to make sure he can clear the wave in time, but Imp does so much damage, he has to respect Shockwave, which you saw him stop attacking there, but this turret is only 1 wave away from dying.
Yeah, it's also only 15 seconds.
Oh, here comes Lulu.
Dragon comes up too. Yeah, Lulu coming down to help out. Soaz could be in trouble here. Acorn doing the damage. Soaz pops that pool, pops the emo play. He's still going to go down anyway. Wild Growth, though, had to be used. That's a crucial out of the way for this Dragon, but a crucial player out of the way for Origin.
Yes, they get the kill. Soaz here with, again, a little misplay. As soon as Pekka uses TP mid, Soaz has to back away. He knows there's the chance of 2 guys coming out to gank him, and the security before was Pekka being able to join. Obviously, he can't do that because he just used it in mid lane, so Soaz had to just back away and not risk dying here, because Origin cannot take a 4-man Baron when Acorn has teleport as well, and there are 3 guys sitting in mid. So LGD right now are using better knowledge around the cooldowns of these globals to get some kills, and now a Dragon more.
Yeah, Imp having no issues at all taking this Dragon by himself, and that's Dragon number 2 now. LGD takes the lead in that objective.
Yeah, I mean, this LGD is showing why they are such a good team. I talked about individual player skill being close in some occasions, but when the map opens up, you really see the mettle of the players and the decisions they're making here. Peke's TP goes down, immediate gank bot lane, nothing taken by Origin. In the meanwhile, the side lane's under control enough that nothing's getting picked up on the backside here. It's very, very strong stuff from LGD.
And simply what happened before here, with this big wave being pushed in the top side and Nils had to go up and clear it and push it back, the mid lane was suddenly open. And that's what forced Pekka to use his teleport to go in and try and defend it. Origin should never have been in that position in the first place because they needed that second summoner to help Source on the bottom. So that was kind of their way of getting the goal lead. Let Source continue to solo farm against Acorn, slowly push down this tower. They might catch TBQ here.
They did catch TBQ. A lot of CC coming down. They force a flash.
Oh, the wall!
Whoops, doesn't go for the wall. Wild Growth used. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. He's going to go down. Niels with a kill there.
TP
teleport
coming
from Acorn. Teleport coming in for OG as well. Origin, Soaz joining the mid lane brawl.
Tibbers is still here for Mithy, so Origin can now start the Baron and bait a team fight with Flash Tibbers onto him.
Yeah, there we go. PYL comes in. There's the knockup on Soaz.
And now here comes the rest of the fight. There's the hard time. They've caught Amazing. He's forced to repel up. Now Mithy in the back lines gets stunned, gets jumped on. He's going to take a little bit of safety from Xpeke. He's trying to run and actually somehow not going down. The Flash 4 gets the kill. Shockwave hits only one, and Peke is a member of a 3-death team here. That did not go well for Origin.
He's got to get away. It's incredible that Mithy didn't die sooner than he did.
But LGD, they punish everything you do. So it's a kill onto TPQ at first, but they see Peke sitting in the mid lane. So when Origin is setting up around that Baron, LGD is like, well, your mid laner is not there, so we just instantly gonna hard engage with the Malphite. And once again, they catch out Origin, they get more kills from it. So we see a lot of good moves from Origin, but LGD just knows how to respond every single time.
It does seem that way.
LGD doing such an amazing job throughout their mid game here. The TP in from Acorn, he found a 2-man knockup, and the follow-up was so incredibly good here.
Look at Peke sitting all the way back at his tier 1 or tier 2 towers. LGD's not afraid to just flash. It was Origin who was supposed to take control of this Baron with 5 members to 4, but that's the engaged source, drops instantly. Good ulti as well from Acorn, and now the fight is already won. So they're simply always, shot calling wise it seems, ahead of Origin, and therefore they can keep finding these openings in an otherwise very close game.
Yeah, that fight was PYL, by the way. The Flash ulti knocked up Soaz before he could react. And then the Braum Q afterwards chained the stuns beautifully. Nothing he could have actually done in that battle whatsoever.
Didn't even get to use his Zhonya's.
Exactly, and that's why he went for the Flash ult. The point-blank knockup can't be reacted to in time. That was a really, really big deal. One of those subtle things that make you a better player. And PYL leading the charge here. 7 out of 8 kill participation, really keeping his team alive and setting up the fights as well.
And taking that blue buff for the second time too. I mean, now we really see a shift in where people are in the map this game. Suddenly, everyone pushed over to Origin side.
We have a lot of cooldowns with teleport here. Only Peke as he's ready. They're going for him. He's all alone down the bottom lane.
But he's going to dodge through the minions.
Wow,
he gets the shockwave dodge, but there's nothing else to do. Overextended. Imp's been solo pushing so much this game. This is the first time he's ever been punished for it.
Had to happen sometime.
Well, that was still really far up from him. So where we have now been commentating on some of the misplays from Origin where they were in the map, Imp now makes a big mistake for himself. Staying so far up the lane, just all alone. The rest of his team were sitting in mid lane. Nothing they could do to really respond. And they couldn't push a tower either because Origin were ready to defend it.
And it feels like Origin aren't tenacious enough to really take any major advantages. All of the gold and almost all of the kills are on Imp. He's still dead for 15 seconds. But Origin have still yet to pressure an objective. Finally, Peke walks to the bot lane. I guess he's got teleport. He can knock down bottom outer, finally. But to only get an outer turret at 31 minutes for picking off the AD carry, that's less than you should be getting.
I guess it does tie up the turrets a little bit. He's just got to worry about LGD pressuring Baron now. He's still going in the bot lane, though.
He has TP ready.
He does.
Again,
no one's reacting to him. Peke could keep going. He thinks someone's going to defend, but Acorn doesn't have teleport. Acorn is not allowed to be down here. Peke doesn't realize it. This should be another turret kill.
double teleport. He's playing it safe because the rest of his team is back in base, so he doesn't technically know.
He has no wards to see.
Yeah, if 2 or 3 guys suddenly show up and kill him, but having double teleport in the late game just offers you so much map control. It's way better than having like an offensive summoner in this situation for Peke because again, he had a free laning phase against the Lulu, and also he now gets the split pushing threat where Malphite, we know a Malphite is a one-trick pony. TP in, ulti someone, and your job is done. And that's what Acorn is going to do again and again, but whenever that is gone, he's not going to do a whole lot. And that's why we can see an opening for Origin to continue split pushing.
Wow, fan vote going to 76% now as far as who they think is going to win this game. And Origin with a tiny little lead right now, perhaps. But I think this one is, I would say, our closest game of World Jet.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be this neck and neck at 33 minutes, absolutely. And honestly, I think many people are surprised that it is this close. LGD stacked with talent. And Origin still making them work for this one. It's going to be close. The double teleport roughly back up now for Origin. We'll see if they can open this map up again.
And while almost nothing can beat a Giacomo in the late game, let's talk about that after, because POL taking some damage. Engage might happen.
Took a bit. Not a lot.
Yes.
Able to back off. TBQ got cocooned. Took a bit of damage as well, but so far nobody really poked out significantly.
That's the tense point, though. You know there's a battle about to brew. Dragon spawns in 3 seconds here.
Oh, yeah.
Origin cleared mid first. They've gummed down the Dragon first as well.
There's too many wards behind Origin here. There's so many good openings for Acorn to teleport in and just get the perfect flank where it's so difficult to react.
I think he's going to try. Dragon started now by Origin.
LGD are setting up a Baron bait instead. They've actually got all the wards
It's
swept
way
away.
too late, though. It's
Dragon
a very
died
late
so
Baron
fast.
bait for LGD.
But there's no vision. Like, there's a blue trinket up, but he's not in range to use it yet. LGD can play with fog.
They know it, though. On the side of Origin.
There it is.
They
There's
saw
the
them sit in the mid lane. They reacted very late after Dragon was started. But obviously, teams can take it down so fast. Mythy has flash again.
Whoa.
So Origin have inside track on mid. If they're tenacious, they can go mid tier 2 and force LGD to come into them. They're trying now.
Oh, yeah, look at this.
Hey,
There's
got
the
it, got it,
coming
got
up
it,
mid
got it.
lane. They're going to try to go. It's going to be a pincher maneuver. They're all grouped up. They got to be careful here. They're coming in. Imp is okay. Amazing takes a lot of damage. Soaz trying to get to the backline. He did get hit by Emo Plague. Expect is okay. Big old shockwave. That shockwave does work. Oh, and the wild growth. It keeps him alive. Expect gets a solo kill. That's it.
That was
Does
the
he get an
combo.
acorn?
They
No.
got onto him. They got the beautiful shockwave. Everything was used to protect him, but it wasn't enough. We highlighted how much damage Origin will have if they pull off the combo, and they did.
Oh, they caught
They're going
Acorn.
for it. Can they land?
They got the stun.
Comes in. Is it going to be Peke's pentakill?
Oh.
Is it going to be no? It's Niels. It is rookie split. Gets the aids and the inhibitors down, and Baron can be next.
Look at the
That is
side lanes
big.
here, though. Origin has to go back and defend all these turrets. Just send one guy. You can still do Baron, though, with the rest. Let's see on the side of LGD. There's still 25 seconds on Acorn. He just died. Pekka will stop the wave here. That team fight, it wasn't even like Soaz ulti into Shockwave. It was just one by one they came in the end,
Yeah.
Pekka pulled through. This is a guy who's been criticized so much this
They're coming
season
in.
for being a passive mid laner.
TBQ looking
Hang
to
on,
cause some
TBQ,
trouble.
the
Shockwave
shockwave
use.
buys time. The stun's there.
That's a PYL coming in later. Godby uses the wild growth. TBQ still alive for the moment anyway. And here comes Imp. The damage coming in. Imp gets a kill. Can they turn it around? Origin chasing Imp. He goes down. TBQ goes down as well. Origin takes the fight. Double kill for Niels. And that is nearly an ace. Only Godby and Acorn surviving.
3 for 2, and Godby's not even done being part of this one. Would you believe it? Origin now soundly in the lead against the #1 team from China.
And I gotta say, it is off of great plays like this. Let's watch it again.
All right, let's see. So first, Cocoon from Amazing. I'm only looking at Imp here. Everything is on him. If you look at Origin, they're focused. They throw in Mythy, knocks him off. That's the wild growth being used. And then it's Shockwave coming in. Such an insane amount of damage. Beautiful chain CC, but again, Dora, you wanted them to throw in Mythy, and they did.
They did it.
And it set up everything for Pekka to get the kills.
Bloodthirsty, man. That's how you play with an Annie. You just toss right in there.
One of the biggest problems there was actually Acorn's teleport. He TP'd in on the other side from his team, so there was no real front line to absorb the CC, to buffer the team back. Origin did not have to respect Malphite because they could run away from Malphite and into the Kog'Maw. The lack of frontline meant so much there, it allowed these guys to catch up to Imp's Cog.
And we're hitting the point here where LGD, yes, they have 2 hard engaged champions. One of them has done absolutely nothing in the Vi pick. But TPQ, he tried to lock up Mythy in that last fight and see if maybe he could delay the tippers. But now, because there are 3 very, very strong carries on the side of Origin, that hard engage becomes so difficult to use properly because all Origin care about is killing him. There's no damage from Malphite, there's no damage from the Vi, there's no damage from the Lulu really because she's shielding onto him. So as long as you wombo combo him, you win the fight.
And that's the thing is, the weird thing is there's so many threats on Origin. It's a triple threat
four
composition.
Four bigger power
Peke's the
cannons.
big one, by the way. He's
Jeez.
got triple Godby's damage. He's got double anyone else on his team. Peke is the man in this one. All eyes are on him as the weak link, but he is overperforming.
The passive mid laner Origin, they don't play around him in the early game, but they do like to really rely on him in the late game. He's shown it before in this split here, how strong of a team fight he is. And also, can we just highlight that every single time we have a big tournament, Pekka will always show up.
Well, he certainly is today, man. Is that inhibitor turret getting lower and lower? Still 2 cannon minions remaining, and Origin, all they need to do is keep doing what they're doing, and they'll close this one out.
Depends how much more they can do. Baron buff timing out in about 30 seconds here. LGD looking for the attempt.
Uh-oh.
TBQ cannot find anything to do. 0, 4, and 1 on this Vi. It
Daria.
seems like banning and
TPQ's
taking
life.
the champions away.
He's
haven't
really
done it.
not been able to do anything in this game here.
Oh, Acorn caught with that stun.
Yeah, you can't jump on a Malphite. Origin are responsible enough to know it is the Kog'Maw that matters. He is the only damage source. Cinderhook Vi, not exactly scary.
Not a whole lot. That turret nearly dead. Just a couple more autos and it's going to be gone.
Godby is on 4 items now.
Yeah.
The Void Staff and Deathcat both in. Makes him a threat on the right targets here.
It helps. It does clear waves pretty well, too.
Acorn is coming.
Oh, he is trying to go in. Oh, he misses the ult. They get out of it. Acorn has to retreat. Wild Growth already used on the Imp. There's a knockup onto Amazing.
He assaults.
Shockwave coming in. Soaz gets in the back with a big emo plague. Meanwhile, LGD, they lose TBQ. And here comes Origin coming in again. Timbers drop. Imp still alive, but it's not going to save the turret. They're going to lose an inhibitor for sure.
And Origin's going to keep on going. LGD needs to buy home guards and heal back up, but there's already 2 inhibitors dead. Origin able to walk away with a clean 1-for-0. 2 inhibs gone.
TP
This is the play.
No
Acorn wants in,
He's
but
got
he's
no
got
ult.
no teammates.
What's he gonna do?
He's trying to stop recalls.
I
Dragon's
guess.
up in 6 seconds.
Recalls for what? That was the most useless teleport.
I think it's literally to try to get Dragon. I think that was literally the only reason why he did this. Origin are now injured on this Dragon attempt, but it's too desperate to try.
I think it's going to die so fast, not going to matter. PYL trying for a Miracle Steal, doesn't get it. Another Dragon goes over to Origin as they back away. Victorious over that big, long skirmish on the bottom side of the map.
So the base is open. 5 dragons is not going to be a thing. It's 3-2 at the moment. Baron is not alive. But Origin are so strong right here. We saw the engage come in from Acorn, but how easy it was for him. They flash it, max range Malphite ulti, and then they can turn around. Godby, at the start of the fight, will just instantly ulti on him. They're like, okay, Imp, they're gonna come for you. Ulti him. Source in this fight, he got a 5-man, a 4-man ulti at least. They have so many threats, and they have so much damage. It's insane.
Origin has played around this hard engage so well. They've minimized the impact of the Vi. They've taken away the impact of the Malphite completely at this point.
So
check this out.
I want to see the teleport here from Acorn. So he comes in from the side instead of running straight at them. So they're ready with the flashes. They're sitting with the finger and ready to use it. And then Soaz comes in the back line. TPQ goes down, and the fight is already won now from Origin. Acorn has to use the teleport there to flank from the side to make it harder for Origin to avoid that engage.
So here we go. 9 turrets picked up, a 7,000 gold lead. And I mean, the curious thing is, for as well as Origin's playing, it's a 3-kill difference. Dragons are only 1 apart, and 7,000 gold at 41 minutes is not the craziest gold lead. This is certainly still comebackable. That's a word from
Comebackable.
LGD. They've got a big Kog'Maw, and if he can outplay the Shockwave and the Annie, he can crush this front line still. You still got to respect LGD's back line.
We saw the amount of gold lead that Origin got with that Baron power play, man. It was like 3,500 gold in the lead. Yeah, that's huge.
That is obviously with the Baron as well as what they got after.
Right.
But you highlight yourself here. Imp is still a massive threat. If Origin has a team fight where they do not manage to land these ultis that are so key for their composition to work, Imp will then take them down 1 by 1 by 1. Again, the tanky members here, we're looking at Amazing basically, and that's nothing. Even as a Rylai's, that's going to be a few hits for Imp, and he's down. And then suddenly, he will just chase them down and take them out.
You know,
they do have to be careful, yeah. I mean, like you said, killing Imp basically kills LGD, but if you can't kill him, he could kill your entire team.
Yep, exactly. So it's still very tricky for Origin. There's a lot of pressure on how they can perform in the fight, but so far they have been able to pull it off. Baron is spawning, they're setting up vision in advance. They're gonna try and bait LGD to walk straight into them, and then you get an easy engage. And now,
Shockwave has to be used on him early just for XPeke to keep himself alive. That's
Look at
big, and they're
Soaz.
going right to Baron. But Soaz going after the base now.
But the Baron is up right now.
TP in.
This is the wrong choice. LGD are going to lose their base if they go for Baron.
They're going for it.
They're going
They're
for
going to
it.
stop the recalls. Amazing's there. It's okay if he does. Because Soaz can make up for his mistakes from last Worlds against OMG. And they're going for the base.
God is coming
the
back.
base can't get inhibitor. The Malphite's in, but the Nexus is still dying. Kills are already coming through for Origin anyway. And Soaz extinguishes the ghosts of his past. He will slowly but surely get enough damage down. He has to. There's a bear spot for LGD, but it's gonna be enough.
No way.
Soaz says, I can do
was insane. Speke is like, hey, I'm supposed to be the guy doing that. But this time, it's Soaz. Origin takes down one of the contenders to get to the finals and Worlds right away in their first game.
I cannot believe that this happened. China's the reigning champion right now. Edward Gaming won the mid-season invitational. Then LGD one-upped them and became the #1 seed from China. And Origin were a challenger team last split.
With a lot of veterans who had so much experience.
It's true, it's true.
The whole split, the whole season for Origin has been fantastic. You said it yourself, they were a challenger team. They won, of course, the challenger series. They came into the LCS. We didn't know really what to expect from them, but they just showed up big time from the start. Great mechanics on these players here, able to execute some of these strong and very hard to play compositions like this one, where you need to really time your ultis correctly. And they pull it off against a team that we keep saying has the most stacked lineup at Worlds with superstars in almost every position. Such a good game from Origin. LGD really made sure they had to work for it because there was so much back and forth in the early game.
It was so close for
very
so long.
high level game. Very high level game and the best we've had so far.
That was a fantastic game, man. And what a huge game for the crowd here in Paris, too, to see Origin take out a team like LGD. And, man, this group is wide open at this point. Who knows what's going to happen now?
I mean, absolutely. Even TSM was a bit of a threat up against KT Rolster here. All down the line, every one of these teams can do something. LGD, you saw their phase a second ago. They are shocked this even happened.
I think we all are.
I know the Twitter vote was like 76% Origin, but if you ask
Twitter's always
any analyst who should have, was not supposed to win this game, but who was favored to win this game, I mean, it's like 99
Oh,
to
yeah.
1.
This is a massive
LGD,
upset
massive
from
upset.
Origin. There were 3 teams people said coming into Worlds would go to the final or be able to win the final. SKT, LGD, and EDG. Now, we just saw Origin take down one of them. It's such a great showing. But overall, man, these team fights and Xpeke with his Orianna showing up when it really matters.
The team fights were spectacular. The way they handled the hard engage for LGD was equally spectacular. A well-deserved win from Origin. Nothing fluke about that. It's a surprise. It's an upset.
Sure.
But it was an extremely well-played game.
Absolutely. And there were so many cool things that happened here. So the split push threats that were here were actually a really big deal because even though you had this Kog'Maw get ahead early, one really well-played tower dive by LGD got him 2 kills, then a bad dragon fight by Origin gave 2 more kills to the Kog'Maw, and like no one can stop Imp. It was Soaz getting a lot of split push early on. 2 turrets were killed by that Vladimir quite early on. That gold buffer gave a lot of room for Origin. And they just played the split push very well. Double teleport, sometimes very hard to contend with. They opened up a lot of the map this way.
LGD is going to look at this pick and ban phase and say, did we show our hand too early? Because we saw the amount of counter picks coming in. The Orianna was great into the Lulu, which got moved to the mid lane. You highlighted, Akon could have taken it topside, but they wanted some hard engage all of a sudden. And we had basically good matchups for Origin in every single lane, which also allowed them to run double teleport because you don't need an offensive summon against a Lulu. And that was very key for this team.
Well, you can see here in a second that we will have Soaz and Xpeke up in the interview lounge with Shox. That'll be very soon. I imagine there's going to be quite the crowd uproar when he does finally show up there. But, I mean, thinking about this game, the split push worked very well. The team fights actually, I know last game we talked about having a split push comp versus having a team fighting composition, TSM not wanting to be part of the 5v5. Origin seemed happy to be like, yeah, you've got a big Kog'Maw, but we're happy to come back into you guys and go for the hard engage and try to kill the AD carry.
I think really the key was when they saw the Malphite Vi coming in and they were like, okay, so you have some protection with the Lulu, with the Braum, but now you're running so much hard engage, which cannot really do anything against our triple threat because again, we will have so much damage. Even if you take out one guy, we might still be able to take the fight. And again, just getting the counter picks with the Vladimir. The way in the lane swap, it looked bad at first for Source because he got denied quite a bit. He was on 0 CS, but then Mythic came up and Mason came up to help him. So they sacrificed the other lanes to make sure Source was farmed enough, and that was key.
It was a really big deal, so a great game by Origin overall, but for now we're going to check in with Shox, who is joined by 2 of the victorious members of Origin.
Thank you so much. Indeed, joined by Origin after LGD got Xpeke by Soaz. I mean, You guys were a pretty popular team coming into this, but this was an incredible game. I got to go to you first because that ending of the game was so incredibly tight, and we all remember what happened versus OMG. Did that ever creep in? I have to bring it up. I have to ask.
Not really. As soon as they started Baron, we had vision on every member of their team, so it was easier for us to actually stop them from basing, and they didn't have Baron buff either, so their base recall was quite high. And we had enormous wave, like bottom, we had like 2 big minions, so I could push really fast. So I was not really paying attention of bases, and I was just asking my teammate if people were basing or not.
People are basing or not. Cool, calm, and collected. Is that also the way you experienced it, or?
No, for me, I was like panicking there.
Yeah?
Because we were fighting. We actually won the fight, but I thought we were going to lose it. And I like, okay, if we lose this fight, it's going to be over. But we actually killed him, and he actually backdoored the Nexus. So.
Yeah, he did. Very interesting that you say, if we lose this fight, still we can lose, because you had that amazing fight where you got a quadra kill, and after all the Xpeke is the weakest link on OG. Xpeke is an old schooler who might not be showing up. Tell me how you lived this game from the start till the end.
Well, at first I was pretty confident on the lane because the way it started, I knew I couldn't lose the lane because he didn't pressure me enough at first. So I was like, okay, this is going to be a fine lane for me. And then as soon as I got the first block, I knew I would slowly snowball. Like I was going to be strong no matter what. And as soon as I had Thonias, I wouldn't die in fights. But then the TP ball happened. And yeah, it was really lucky for us because after that, we had the game on our side if we didn't do anything. And their Koma was fed. The only one that couldn't get fed, got fed. Like super good, actually. So it made the game a lot harder because we had to give up Drakes. We had to let them take priority wherever they wanted. And it just slowed the game until the fight that I got the ultimate on everyone.
Well, you guys are super experienced players, but it still seems that something like this is always very stressful. Tell me how you lived the preparation coming into this. You guys have lived through so many World Championships, and it's kind of a different deal now. Before it was always, what's this Fnatic gonna do with you two? How far are they gonna get? Now it's kind of different. Now it's, okay, OG is the underdog in this group. How has that changed your way coming in here? Playing in Paris must be quite a bump.
Well, for me, I like being the... I like being the underdog because there is a lot less pressure compared to Worlds last year. A lot of European fans and others were looking after us, like expecting us to do really well, and we ended up doing really bad. But this year is like people expect us to do third or fourth, so we don't have. I don't feel any pressure. So I think it's good for me and the team in general.
Well, whatever happens, you already beat LGD. Soaz, quelques mots en français pour les fans.
Non, mais merci à tout le monde qui nous supporte et nous suivent jour au jour. Non, en tout cas, merci à tout le monde, franchement, ça fait très plaisir.
Simple thank you to everyone from SOAS. Peke, do you know any French?
No, merci.
Merci, voilà, there we go. Et merci à vous deux. Congratulations, fantastic win by Origin here in their first game of Group D. Analysts, take it away.
Thank you, Shocks. I mean, we had that extra delay to get into the game, but boy, was it worth it. What an incredible showing there by Origin. And I have to say that the three of you have some explaining to do.
For sure.
All right, so let's take a look at the early game.
So the plot armor came down on the Xpeke.
No!
He donned it, went 6-1 and 9 on Orianna, and everybody just lined up. No. They actually played that
let's talk about
well.
Xpeke, because it was someone that we did hit as being the weak link for the team and was a question mark coming in and how he would be able to stack up against Godv. And as you mentioned, he showed up. He stepped it up huge in this game.
Yeah, European mid laners seem to always deliver when they go to international competition. Questions at MSI about Febevin, comes in, solo kills Faker. Xpeke always seems to step up his game around Worlds and around international play, and it just seems to be they hit the grindstone and they come out swinging.
The thing is, Xpek is champion pool didn't get targeted. He was put in a matchup that he's very comfortable in. He's playing the Orianna, a champion he's been doing well on before with TP, which is fine in the Lulu matchup.
Well, for whatever reason, they did get rid of the Varus first ban, which is technically in his pool.
We should go back and kind of revisit this pick and ban here because it was quite interesting, especially Origin targeting TBQ. So they came in with that in mind. Now, this put LGD in a situation where they had a choice to first pick the Elise here, and they could have saved Gragas for later in the draft. They made the choice for the Vi. Now, the Vi, I don't really have a problem with because you can shut down the Kalista, the Malphite-Vi combo, and try and win the game that way. The problem was really a lot of these losing lane matchups. And remember that Lulu is definitely a flex pick for LGD. Acorn could have easily played that champion, but they chose to put it in the mid lane with more initiation alongside the Malphite. But that also set up the Vlad pick, which Malphite's not really going to stop a Vlad split push.
Yeah, everybody ended up, like you're talking about losing lanes. They aren't exactly winning or losing lanes there. They end up going even, and then they reach team fights where that's where it really prevailed for me, was you're against a triple threat as a mono threat composition with the Kog'Maw.
But here's the thing.
Wait, you need hold on one second. You need enough engage to kill Kalista and then enough damage after your engage to kill a Vladimir, which you don't have that mixture of with one threat.
Understood, but we saw a lane swap come through anyway.
Yes.
So even choosing worse lanes, we saw the lane swap came through, which Origin ended up playing very well. I know you have thoughts on the way that Amazing specifically.
It's like Amazing played in a way that he didn't show on the map at all. That puts pressure on all the lanes, and there was no play from TBQ at all. He just showed up top lane when they were supposed to commit for the dive on the Vladimir that had no flash. They had to make sure that Elise shows up so Akan could do something. He didn't do anything for 3 minutes, which is horrible.
Yes, and not only that, but it was TBQ repeatedly showing on a tri-brush ward in the top side. So as he knew exactly how safe he was, and Acorn was not. And maybe this is a problem, one of the problems that you see with having these mixed language rosters, because it just looked like TBQ and Acorn were doing entirely different things in that lane swap, and Acorn wasn't willing to pull the trigger to have a teleport to maybe attempt to dive in the top side, and instead just ended up kind of running around the map or just sitting in Fountain at the beginning of that game. Meanwhile, Soaz was just picking up farm under the turret. So you can say, okay, LGD got the first turret in the top side, but it came at a very dear price in terms of top lane farm.
Now, ultimately, we did see Origin play out that lane swap well, take advantage of TBQ in certain areas, but Imp on the other side of things on that Kog'Maw was doing everything in his power through the mid game to ramp up 4-0 at one point, bringing us all the way up into that 34-minute mark, that crucial 34-minute mark, where we saw a team fight in the mid lane that completely swung things in Origin's favor.
Yeah, it's and that's the big setup, right? If you're going to play. If you choose to play Juggernaut with no other source of damage, and remember, we used to see the Ku Tigers do this, Lulu mid, Maokai top instead. Sometimes they use Rumble, but it means that the crowd control has to be used perfectly because of that one damage threat. So that's going to be, I think, a big part of this team fight.
Yeah, it has to be on the right person, too, here. Never, under any circumstance, should you be Vi ulting the support of a Kalista. He's trying to stop the ultimate from Annie coming through, but it ends up just getting the Annie thrown in onto Imp, who then gets locked into place perfectly for the shockwave. The setup there, if you had ulted Niels, you lock him out of his Fate's Call, and then you see Acorn actually goes after Niels afterwards, and he's so low HP, if you had actually focused him, you may have stopped that catastrophe from happening to your team, but Origin played the Wombo combo really well.
Yeah, beautiful team fight from Origin, no doubt. And we didn't even see what the setup to that was, which was they were sieging the mid turret, and what LGD was trying to do was set up a pincer attack because they had Acorn TP to that turret. I would not recommend trying to flank with a Juggernaut. Juggernaut is like a cannon. It's a piece of artillery. You set it up, it points in one direction, it doesn't move, you can't turn it very fast. You have to all be together because otherwise it just doesn't work. So without that extra threat there, you're going to find the Kog'Maw in a very vulnerable state. That said, it was played very well, but you have to talk about TBQ here. There were 10 kills in this game. He was 0-6-1. He had a 10% kill contribution rate as a jungler. That is unacceptable.
Right, so that is that weakness that we're looking at for LGD. Now, that does it for Group D. So let's take a look at the standings over there. KT, Rollstar, and Origin are up 1-0, while the LPL's LGD and North America's TSM are still looking for a win. And so I'm going to turn back to you guys for a final word here, which is given the result of that game, what does this do in terms of the ecosystem of this group and the way it might play out, having seen LGD drop that game?
It's always so hard to jump to conclusions when you're seeing one game, because then you're just inferring so much from it, and it could just be an outlier. I mean, I have bad games, everybody has bad games, and TBQ there and the communication may have just been a small breakdown. They still have ways to recover. They were never completely out of that game until way later on. But I feel like this does put Origin in that top spot where you're just saying, could they be in there as number 2? There's more weighted on it because they definitely came here to play.
I'd say they made more than a good case for themselves coming out of the group in the top 2. Now, coming up next, the international wildcard Bangkok Titans will take to the stage against Season 3 world champions SK Telecom T1. There's more Worlds coming your way when we return.
A little bit too early. Is Expecke takes a lot of damage, and that's going to be double kill now. There we go. PYL comes in. There's the knockup on Soaz.
And now here comes the rest of the fight. There's the hard time. They've caught amazing.
Expecke is okay. Big old shockwave. That shockwave doesn't work though.
Nice.
Good job. Well, growth already used on the Imp. There's a knockup onto Amazing. Shockwave coming in. Soaz gets in the back with a big emo plague.
And Soaz extinguishes the ghost of his past. He will slowly but surely get enough damage down. He has to. Soaz says, I can do it better.